Hello, everyone, and welcome to Networked, the show connecting people and technology resources together and offering an inside view of what's new in North Central Washington. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, and today I'm excited to introduce you to a local entrepreneur whose new business may be the perfect mix of fun and games. By definition, the word Epoch stands for a period of time in a person's life that is marked by notable events. And what better way to create notable events and memories in life than by spending time playing games with family and friends? Joining me in the studio today is Lynn, owner and operator of Epoch, a brand new gaming lounge in downtown Wenatchee, offering food and fun for all ages. Whether you are a student looking for something to do after school or a professional who just wants to kick back and enjoy some games and grub, Epoch has a little something for everyone. Don't go too far. We'll be right back after the short break to introduce Lynn. Welcome back to Networked. I'm so excited to introduce our guest today, Lynn from Epoch. Welcome to the studio.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we were getting to know each other before we started rolling here. Congratulations on your upcoming opening of your new business.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so excited for everyone to learn about Epoch and what your vision is. But first, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you. Are you a Wenatchee native or what,
Actually, I grew up in Bridgeport.
Okay.
And kind of moved around from there, Spokane, Seattle. I lived in California for a while, but eventually, you kind of come home, right? I have a wife and kids, and we decided that Seattle wasn't quite the spot to raise them. So we brought them here and been here for about a year and a half now.
Okay. And when you settled into the community, did you know right away you were going to open a business or?
Oh, no. Not at all, no. This just kind of, we kind of fell into it. As it happens, we got an inheritance, as one does eventually, and we just decided we needed something to change, and instead of just kind of working day to day, we're trying to do something for us and take control of it, and this is kind of where it came from.
So let's dive into the business. Why did you go with Epoch? A games-based business. So let's talk maybe first explain a little bit. What is your business model?
Yeah. So it's going to be rental by the hour. You'll come in, you can rent time on our PCs, on our virtual reality, or just sit down and have, play some board games, as well as like all the consoles and everything else. And we'll have food and drink. It'll be open to all ages. And you'll just be able to go down and rent some time and hang out is really what it is.
So it's gaming, low tech and high tech.
If it's a game, you can play it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have people
You've got it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling people to come down and play cribbage with me.
Okay.
Because really, in what it comes down to is Epoch is a place for the community. And nothing brings people together more than playing a game with each other. And that's really what I wanted to bring. And
that's definitely been a missing experience, probably in North Central Washington. Are you the first gaming place studio to be coming online, or at least in recent years?
Yeah, and there's been game stores and there's been card shops in Wenatchee, but this is a little bit different. I mean, in Seattle they're called barcades, where it's an arcade bar. This is kind of a little more family friendly, kind of bringing together a lot of different ideas and putting them all into one. So it is fairly unique.
If you're, obviously you mentioned cribbage and board games, so those feel fairly accessible and knowledgeable to the layman. If you're not super techie though, are the games, can you walk in there and learn how to play them? Like virtual reality, what does that look like?
So the virtual reality is what I'm most excited for, because it's really intuitive. You put this on and you're nervous and you don't know what you're doing. Then all of a sudden you realize you're moving your hand and you're moving in the game. And you can look at your hands inside this thing, reach down, you pick it up, and you're actually doing it. And I mean, I've anywhere from 3-year-olds to 90-year-olds can get in this thing and just start going right away.
That virtual reality is coming online not just for gaming, but things like real estate and house tours and all sorts of experiences. Maybe tell me, what are one of the fun virtual reality games that you're excited to have the community play?
So my favorite one to watch is a game called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, where the person in the headset is diffusing a bomb, and it has a bunch of little puzzles like different colored wires to clip and different buttons to press. but they don't know what to do. And the people that are outside the game are flipping through a notebook, trying to tell, and I have to say, okay, how many wires are there? What's the serial number say? And it's this very tense thing where the people outside are flipping through like an actual notebook while the person inside this is like trying to answer these questions. And it's so much fun to just watch it all come unraveled because people are talking over each other, and it's a lot of fun.
So I always think of virtual reality for some reason of just like a single experience, but this is dynamic, what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it brings people from outside of the game to really be playing, and it's a lot of fun when you get, you'll have 5 different people doing different puzzles all separately, and trying to talk over each other and it's like on a 2-minute timer. It's a lot of fun. That
sounds really cool. It's kind of bringing that locked room experience into a new format.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. Now, you're also going to have, you mentioned food. So this is a place, are you envisioning parties for people, or is it just coming after work and grab a snack?
No, yeah, we'll have, we're putting in a full kitchen, and we've designed it in, because we do have a very small space, but it's very compact, but it's all air fried food. So it's, we're staying away from the kind of the greasy stuff, and it's going to be kind of upscale pub food, but we're doing a lot of shareable options because, again, like this is a place to build a community. So instead of a big burger, you're going to have sliders. That way we can share it. That kind of a thing.
Now you're not quite open yet.
No.
Building out a kitchen, a whole new spot. It's a lot of work. So kudos to you and your wife for taking on that journey.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that process. I mean, you had this concept. You wanted to decided to open a business. How long has the journey been?
Well, it's been actually a surprisingly short amount of time. It kind of snowballed and got bigger and bigger. But it's been, a little over a year and a half kind of just planning. And this started out as like a thought process for me and my wife during the pandemic. And we're like, well, wait, maybe we can do this eventually, right? And so we'd go for walks and talk about the things we'd want to have in this. And then all of a sudden we kind of found the means to be able to do it and just kind of jumped in.
Now let's bring up COVID. I'm wearing a mask today because I'm about to travel. So thank you for, wanted to make sure that the new variants going around. I wanted to be extra safe in the studio today myself. So thank you for supporting that. How does COVID impact the plans? Or as an entrepreneur, I imagine that's in the back of mind, a fear about gathering people in person.
Yeah. And I mean, part of the reason that we wanted to do this was because people were so fragmented, right? And we wanted to build a sense of community. And the way that we designed it, we're actually building small little living rooms with its own couch, its own big screen TV, its own little secluded area. So you'll be able to rent out that space and do whatever you want in it. And so it's designed where we can, if the restrictions do come up, we can put plexiglass up really well and keep it nice and separate. It's a big building. And we have a lot of space there, so we have ideas in mind for if we do have to do
kind of contingencies to keep operating.
I feel like now, I mean, you just kind of have to do that when you're designing something new. I mean, because it's happened before and it might happen again, so it's definitely safe to plan for something.
Yeah. So how you build it out. Well, I'm really excited for you guys. We're going to dive more in our second segment. Got some more questions for you, but we do have to head out to commercial break. So don't go too far. We'll be right back on NCW Life. Well, welcome back to Networked. We've been on air with Andy Lynn. He is the owner and operator of the new gaming studio coming to downtown Wenatchee, Epoch. We've been talking about a lot of different topics offline, but what I want to throw at you, Epoch. Let's talk about the name. Yeah. I was struggling a little bit. How do I pronounce it?
Yeah, it is Epoch. In America, our pronunciation, we were taught Epoch. Pretty much everywhere else in the world is pronounced Epoch, and that's how I learned it, and so that's what we're rolling with.
Yeah. And why did you land on Epoch?
There's a couple of different reasons, but Epoch is an important moment in time, and that's kind of what we're, again, trying to build a community and I want this to be an epoch for somebody to be able to come down and have an important time in an important place. It was also a spaceship in Chrono Trigger, one of my old favorite video games, and so I had to kind of go with that too.
So it's got a fun personal tie too, but a really deep meaning. Creating these that place for community so important. We have been really fragmented since COVID, and You talked a little bit before we went out to commercial break about this living room environment that you're creating. So let's walk through. First, I think we have a photo of the outside if you've not seen. The no peeking coming soon.
Yep.
That's good. Letting people know. So describe where you are downtown for us.
So we're right on the Ave, right across from like Firehouse Pet Shop. That's
Okay.
probably the most one that most people know.
Yeah.
I mean, directly across from there. So
Okay.
it's a great location, right next to the bus stops and easy walking.
Yep. I was going to say, we've got the bus station right downtown, really accessible, Pybus Market. And then what are people going to see? Oh, this is the development of the name and sign, right?
Yeah, and so, I mean, like I said, it's an important moment in time, and, we kind of wanted to tie that together
So
with an hourglass.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is what Gibbs Graphics has made that sign, and they just did a phenomenal job with it. It's an amazing design.
And Gibbs Graphic is a design company up in Leavenworth. Yeah. Fantastic. We've used them at the Tech Alliance before for some of our flywheel branding, actually. So they do a great job.
Yeah.
They're really great. Okay, so we talked about the exterior. Let's go a little bit more into detail. The living room experiences. Can people, once you open, just walk in and rent an area?
Oh, of course, yes.
Or is it going to be reservations?
You can do both.
Okay.
Yep.
So people who like me who are planners can call a week in advance and say, I want to rent an area for X amount of hours.
Exactly.
Okay. And then with that, it's all inclusive or builds out depending on the
It's going to be depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
The virtual reality and the consoles, they're in different areas. And so, it's just going to depend on what you're wanting to play at the time.
Yeah. Now, you and your wife have very different backgrounds.
Yes.
Bringing this in together to run a business together, like a lot of entrepreneurs, husband-wife teams. Tell me about your background.
Yeah. And so I've just kind of been a laborer all my life. I went through and did a little bit of schooling, but it wasn't really for me. I like money in my pocket. And yeah, I've kind of traveled around all over the state, down to California, and settled back here. My wife, she's an accountant and has been for many years, but she deals specifically with restaurants, so it's a good fit because she'll be able to kind of handle the restaurant and the back end side of things. But I've been playing games since I could hold a controller in my hand, and so I'll handle all the video game parts.
So you'll run the front of house, all the gaming experience, and then obviously you've got a very talented wife who can help run the business with you alongside.
Yeah, crack the whip.
Yeah. What about staffing? What is that going to look like? Are you sure? I mean, obviously you haven't opened and you're still in construction.
Yeah. I mean, we have plans of having maybe 5 full-time employees down there between our cooks and our bartenders and just kind of our floor help getting people around. It's not necessarily a full-fledged restaurant, so we're not going to have like a server coming around and taking your order and all that. And we're not quite sure how all of it's going to kind of meld together. Our employees are going to wear a lot of hats, but we are definitely having at least 5. And
what are you envisioning in terms of hours? I know we talked a little bit after school or evenings.
Yeah. And so it's a weird thing about Wenatchee is you go down here and like Sunday night, there's kind of nothing open, especially if you want to go out for food. There's a lot of places are closed. So we're going to start off just 7 days a week, and start out right about 3:00 in the afternoon for the kids to get off school, come down and hang out. We want to make sure we have some kind of a study hall program so they can come down. They can use our computers for free if they're working on homework, that sort of a thing. Use our Wi-Fi, whatever they need. And then we'll be open, late into the night. And then on the weekends, probably open a little later so people can come out for lunch.
Well, on a side note on the computers piece, at the Tech Alliance, we're really passionate about connecting people and technology resources. And there's a big digital divide still in our community with a lot of youth who don't have connectivity at home or even a device at home. So I think that's really cool that you're going to create a safe space that they could also tap in.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's... I have 2 kids, and having them have a spot where they can come and hang out with their kids or with their friends, is really going to be. It's something I wanted to bring. And
we don't have a ton of multi-generational spots either.
Yeah.
It tends to be either kind of families or adults. So I think that's really cool. Here, it looks like we've got a display here of kind of some of the outreach events you've started to do because you have been out in the community.
Yes.
What has that been like as far as starting to promote the business and working, with community partners?
It's been fantastic. I love doing it because I haven't talked to a single person who hasn't been excited for it, and everybody has been so helpful. And people have been saying, if you need anything, reach out to me. It's the Wenatchee area is an amazing spot to start a business because it is already a community.
Well, let's talk about, if an entrepreneur was listening today, you moved back here a year and a half ago, now you're scaling a business. What advice would you have for other entrepreneurs who are maybe thinking about pursuing their dream?
Yeah, I would say, just do it. Jump in with everything you got, and don't be afraid to reach out, because there are so many different people to help around here, whether it's the Downtown Association, the SBA. I mean, there's a lot of different programs that can help out around in the area, and I mean, even just other businesses. I've talked to so many other business owners who are like, yeah, I was in your shoes like 4 years ago. If you need help, just you can call me and I'll help you.
Yeah, kind of the peer and colleague camaraderie and business ownership.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, and you guys also participated with the North Central Washington EDD,
yes,
didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and through their Supernova.
The Supernova Business Launch Competition, yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that experience.
That actually was probably the reason that Epoch is anything near what it is supposed to be, or what it is today.
Wow.
It grew so much more just from their the startup boot camp that's with Wenatchee Valley College as well. Yeah. Just having a soundboard of a bunch of different entrepreneurs that are having in different, even completely different areas, but just have a soundboard and somebody else is going through the same kind of things that you're going through, and to have a kind of a structure of building out your business plan and learning about all these things that I probably wouldn't have done before if I didn't have that. It was a fantastic choice to get into that.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure the team at the Economic Development is going to be thrilled to hear that you had such a good experience. They have a really incredible program with Supernova.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for coming on air. I can't wait to see Epoch open and create some of our own Epoch memories, right, and experiences. For our audience today, be sure to follow, are you on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, it's Play at Epoch.
Okay.
And then we also have epochgamelounge.com as our website, where you can send me an email right through the website.
Perfect. So start following Epoch now, so you can stay tuned on their openings, and wish you the very best of luck.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. We have to take another commercial break, but we'll be right back to wrap up today's episode. I want to thank you for joining us today on Networked, and a special thank you to our guest, Andy Lynn, for sharing his entrepreneurial story. We are so excited to see Epoch open up in downtown Wenatchee just here in the next couple of months. If you missed any of today's show, don't worry. You can go to the NCW Life website to watch the full.
Since 1999, NCW Tech Alliance has served as our regional hub for technology innovation. As a 501c3, their nonprofit mission is to connect people and technology resources to create a thriving community. You can network with the team and guests from today's show by visiting them at www.ncwtech.org.